Welcome, everybody, to Books with Cooks,
a podcast for bookies and foodies.
Hi, I'm Jess.
And I'm Alex.
And we're two cousins
who are also best friends
who love to read.
Yeah.
And I love to cook.
And I cook to survive.
We'll be reviewing, analyzing,
sometimes overanalyzing,
and discussing the books we're currently reading, as well as new
and old
recipes from our kitchen to yours. By the way, we're real people
with real families.
So you may hear cats,
dogs,
birds,
babies,
and husbands.
So enjoy that bonus material. Now let's get booking
and have a tasty chat. Stick around at the end of this episode for some bloopers and bonus content.
Hey, listeners. If you're enjoying our podcast, please give us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or your preferred streaming service to help us reach more listeners and spread the word about our podcast.
All right, now it's time to harpoon that tune. Can you guess a tune within 5 seconds of hearing its intro? We want to know.
If you can guess, reach out to us via email or message us on our socials with the answer to be featured in an upcoming episode and grab a chance to be entered in an upcoming giveaway.
Today's tune is...
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Books with Cooks After Dark. Just kidding.
Seriously.
Hey, Jess. What's going on?
Hi. Nothing. I'm just being the most ridiculous I've ever been in my life. And I blame it all on my coffee.
Yeah, sure. Blame it on the coffee.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
No, I had a chocolate coffee today.
Ooh.
With the chocolate macadamia in it.
So good.
Love it.
I just finished my coffee, but it was my double espresso with some French vanilla in it, and yeah, that's all. I had my cayenne pepper in it though, which was nice. A couple of times it was a little too spicy, hit me right in the back of the throat, so she said, and I started coughing uncontrollably.
I hit you in the tit?
Hit me right in the tit.
Spicy tit?
Spicy tit.
Listen, that's just a preview of what's going to go on here, right? We're not going to try to hide it. You've seen what the title of the last episode was, all right? And we're coming in hot in this episode.
Spicy.
Coming in spicy hot. So, hold on to your tits and be prepared.
Yeah. Anyway. So we are going to be writing a dark fantasy, just like we've done our horror and our thriller. Before we do that, though, Jess, was there anything that you wanted to talk about, or do you want to just jump right into this?
But it is going to be spicy, just so you guys know, because it's dark fantasy. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Trigger warning: it will get spicy.
It's going to get weird. Trigger warning on weird also.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the names of these people. But I don't know. What else? What do you want to talk about first? I mean, anything that you want to say?
Not really, other than I received Iron Flame today and I started reading it. So looking forward to talking about that once we finish it. And yeah.
I'm still not getting my book until tomorrow.
I know. Messed up.
So I know. I texted Alex yesterday and I was like, so, you can't read yours yet because you got to sacrifice. And she was like, no, not happening. I was like, oh, all right. Evil.
I know.
No,
and then I sent her this.
Gonna really do that, but
I sent her this GIF of this man in the snow with his underwear, and he's like, "I'm so cold," thinking like it would be like me being like, "Oh, I'm ice cold. I'm not waiting for you." And she was like, "What is that supposed to be? Me in the cold, and you just filming me instead of helping me?" It's like you really read into that one. I don't know.
Hey, I overanalyze everything. I don't try to hide it. I know who I am. All right, but if you send me that, that's it's evil. Okay.
Such a weird interpretation.
Yeah, you might as well have just wrote back and wrote like a picture of me, but I spit on it. That's all. I spit on you.
Freeze, bitch. Puh. Oh my God. Do you know that yesterday Rob was randomly like, I would spit on that. And I was like, you would what? Because Jess Jess was just using this all the time, and now you're randomly saying it? Is this like the new thing on the streets?
Yeah, I spit on you. I don't know. That's a new thing. What did I say the other day? I was spitting on everything, remember?
Oh my God. I don't even remember.
I was like, I spit on that. I spit on that book.
I think we're talking about Jada again, because you saw that Will had a book, and you were like, oh, his is just called Will, and hers is called Worthy. And what did she think? She needed to come out with a book with another W word? I spit on you.
W? Yeah, I spit on you.
Oh my God.
Don't even get us started on Jada again.
I know. Seriously, we didn't want to talk about her, and then she makes her.
Wait, I want you to know that I just went into messages and I typed in "I spit" and a whole bunch of stuff came up. So you to see what it is. It's a conversation with you, obviously, and it says, "I spit on her also. I spit on him. Who am I spitting on?
Spitting on everyone."
Oh, Dane.
That's right.
I spit on him. Not Dane. I spit on him.
That's right, because I mentioned that I saw on TikTok people are questioning if the real enemies to lovers is going to be between Violet and Dane, now that he's like the enemy of sorts, and her and Xaden already got together in the first book in a 5-book series, and you were like, no, I spit on him.
Yeah, I do spit on him. Okay, and if that happens, I'm going to literally run outside my house, and the first person I see walking the dog or something, I'm going to spit on them. So I hope that doesn't happen. I want nothing to do. I won't really do that. But I really want to know, like, if something's going to pop off with Dane and Violet, I'm not there for that. I don't want that. That's not what the people want.
Yeah.
Don't act like, whoa.
No. Don't get me wrong. I don't want Violet to be with Dane. I don't think that makes sense. But I'm here for a Dane redemption arc. I'm here for that. I love a good villain redemption arc. I think that they're fascinating, but I don't know. If it turns into like a love story between her and Dane, I will puke everywhere and I'll hate it and I'll spit on him.
I stopped listening because I hate Dane and I don't want any part of that story. Okay. Also, going back to no, I'm only kidding, but going back to Jada, because I said after that, I was like in the same chat, I was like, I spit on her also, and I sent you a picture of the book, and that's when we discussed what you said.
Yeah.
But instead, because she's a villain, right? She could have just named her book Willin instead of Villain, you know?
Oh my God. Willing, but she's not willing. She's anti-willing.
She's not willing to do what needs to be done over there. I'm done.
I can't with Jada anymore.
I'm done. This whole chat just turned into like a whole blooper session, and it's gonna stay. It's gonna be, because What do we have in store for you? Well,
just if you're still with us, just know it's gonna get weirder for me.
It's gonna be a weird.
We've already been hanging out virtually for the last hour or so, just cracking each other up.
Yeah, I almost died. I almost didn't make it. No, you don't understand. So we know how we're going to make a dark fantasy. We're going to write a story like we usually do. But making up the characters, setting, and weapons and props and events of this one really took me out.
Yeah.
So I hope that you guys enjoy it. All right, let's tell the people what they can expect.
All right. So for our characters, we have the Squirrel King, Queen Atlantit, Shaqueef, the outlaw named Spazberry, Richard, also known as Raging Dick, Sandy, Marvolo, the Midnight, as in, is he cool? Nah, he's mid. The Wondertit Elders, the Tit-Winged Fairy, the Titwit, and Tiny Tit.
Just a little context, okay? Instead of the Nitwit, the Titwit, and instead of Tiny Tim, Tiny Tit.
No,
that's
if
all.
you have to explain it, it's not funny anymore.
Fine.
Old people, man. All right.
Well, but there's a reason why we have this theme going. Alex, what's the setting? It makes perfect sense when you know.
All right. So our stories will take place in the wonderful kingdom of Wondertit during the time of the Long Autumn, 20 years into the Squirrel King's reign. It is in the land of no time, and the Titisans, otherwise known as the citizens of Wondertit, are at war with the kingdom of Atlantit. Jess, do you want to tell them what weapons we have?
Sure. We have a tree branch, a magic wand, a wizard's staff, a nut thrower, because obviously we're in the squirrel kingdom here, a nutcracker, a mammogram machine. Gotta have a mammogram machine. And the legendary acorn sword. Real serious stuff. All right. Also, I'm just going to throw a new one in here. The tit taser.
The tit taser. That makes sense. We should have a tit taser.
All right. All right. So our props, events, etc. Obviously, we have a lot of them for this one. We have 2 twisted tits. We have an elm tree. We have a deck of magical cards. Makes sense. Throne of Nantucket. We have making Rice Krispie treats shaped like acorns. I know you thought it was going to be something else, but it's not. Pulling the sword from the giant magical acorn of Wondertit past elders. Mediocre jugs. Do consider that what you will. The sword and the boner. The festival of fill in the blank, which is reusable. We could fill it in whatever we want, whatever festival we feel the need to fest, I guess. The award for gnarliest nuts. Putting on an enhancing cloak, so it depends on the wearer of what gets enhanced. The sequestered tavern, which sometimes has a titathon, so sometimes they call it the titathon salon. And then last but not least, Channing's Tatum.
Okay.
Okay. So do with that what you will.
All right. Well,
Alex, you start us off with the first story this time. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, we're going to do a story each and then a story together.
Yes. All right. So my dark fantasy starts on a dreary day in the kingdom of Wondertit. It's been a very long autumn, and the Squirrel King has been sitting on his throne of Nantucket since he came of age at 18. It's been 20 years. And the Tittisons are a little upset because we've been at war now with the kingdom of Atlantit, ruled by the Queen Atlantit, for some time, for a good portion of the Squirrel King's reign. And they're becoming a little antsy. They're not liking it. There was a festival of tangy tits last week, and it got really feisty. It got really spicy. People almost set an elm tree on fire. They were exchanging nutcrackers in not a good way. And then it really came down to the midnight and crazy old Maurice to have to put a stop to all of this. So they come barreling through the streets. They're like, all you Tittisons, get inside. The festival's over. No more tangy tits for you. The next person I see getting rowdy on the streets is going to be subjected to the mammogram machine. So the Tittisons were understandably a little upset by this. So they did go inside, all except for Tiny Tit and Sandy. And they were like, no, you guys don't have the right. We are very upset because we've been at war for a long time. You guys don't seem to care about it. We're going to start taking matters into our own hands. So the next day, Sandy and Tiny Tit, and then they also enlist the help of Titwit and the Tit-winged fairy because they needed some assistance on this journey that they're about to embark on. They say, grab your mediocre jugs. We are going to go and pull the sword from the giant magical acorn. And Tiny Tit, you're going to have to get the sword and the boner. So they set out on their journey. Their first stop is at the sequestered tavern. And while they're there, they get some clues. So Raging Dick, as they come to know him, is at this tavern, and he's drunk. He's drinking up a storm. He's got his nut thrower with him, and he's just throwing nuts everywhere. I mean, he's shooting nuts at every person, and people are getting really annoyed. They're like, that Raging Dick is such a dick. That's why we call him that. Anyway, he tells them, if you want to get to the sword and get it out of the magical acorn, first you're going to have to find Channing's Tatum. So he gives them a map. They're not sure if they can trust it because he's pretty drunk, but they're like, all right, well, let's try and do this. So they set out. Tiny Tit has his magic wand, and he's like, all right, let's conjure up some type of spell here that'll help direct us to Channing's Tatum. So that works. It brings them to Channing's Tatum, and he's sitting in this really rundown hut. He's just chilling with a big giant pot of tea. He's not drinking it. He's just sitting with it. It's gigantic, okay? And they come to him and they're like, Channing's Tatum? And he's like, yes, that is I. And they're like, okay, we need to get to this magical acorn so that we can pull the sword from it. And he tells them, all right, if that's what you want to do, what you're going to have to do is take this deck of magical cards and these 2 twisted tits, and you're going to throw them into this giant pot of tea. And they're like, this seems crazy, but all right, let's just do it. Let's see what happens. They do it. And at first it seems like nothing's happening. But then all of a sudden, the spirits of the Wondertit elders start to emerge from this giant pot of tea. And they tell them, listen, if you want to get that acorn, this is what you have to do. you need to win the award for gnarliest nuts at the next festival, the Festival of Dangling Dicks. And so they have to go do that. So they go to this festival. The tit-winged fairy helps the Titwit. The tit-winged fairy helps Titwit to enhance his nuts with the enhancing cloak so that he wins this award. He ends up winning for gnarliest nuts. And then as a result, the award that they receive is actually a potion that will transport them to the magical acorn. So they do that. They get there. And Tiny Tit is able to pull the sword from the giant magical acorn. They're all very happy. This then brings them to the sword and the boner, and Tiny Tit's able to get that. And eventually they make it back to the kingdom of Wondertit, and they present the magical sword and the boner that they pulled. And the Squirrel King is so happy. He's like, thank you so much. Please give these treasures to Shaquith, and we will set a meeting with Queen Atlantit. And that's what they do. And they're able to settle their ages-long feud. And there's war no more in the kingdom of Wondertit.
All right.
The end of my story.
What's your story called?
Journey of the Titisans.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's hear your story now. Because mine really went off the rails.
How could you not with these? All right. I'm gonna start with Queen Atlantit. We're gonna follow her for a minute. So Queen Atlantit, she's a young queen. She just became queen. She went through inauguration or whatever it's called. What's it called?
Inauguration.
Oh, Inauguration Day. That's what it's called, right? I was trying to think of Frozen. All right. She's getting ready to go to this big party to celebrate. And, she's got her handmaiden, Sandy, getting her ready, this big, beautiful dress. And she runs down to the kitchens and she's like, man, I'm hungry. All right. So Marvolo, the cook, is there. And, he's cooking up some Rice Krispie treats shaped like acorns. And, he's storing them in these mediocre jugs. And, she's really excited about this event. So she's getting all ready. She's a little nervous, so she puts on some kind of cloak, enhances some things as she goes and runs to the sequestered tavern. And while she's in there, she sees crazy old Maurice, but she hides from him because nobody really likes crazy old Maurice. Mm-hmm. She sees a knight and she's like, oh, is he good looking? But he's mid, he's a mid knight. And she of course sees the Wondertit elders, but she has to hide from them because that's not even her kingdom. What are they even doing there? And then she sees this guy just sitting there alone, so she starts talking to him. She finds out his name is Richard. And they fall madly in love. Things get spicy, and they end up going into the inn up across the way and getting down. So she rips off her dress and her cloak, and she has two twisted tits, and he's a little concerned about that. But he's like, hey, this is some mediocre jugs, but I'm into it. And he whips out his Channing's Tatum, and they're having a spice fest. Spice fest. Spice fest. And she's like screaming his name, and at the end she's like, oh, Richard, you win the award for the gnarliest nuts. And he's like, why don't you let me put my sword in the boner. So anyway, they have a good time. All right. As this is happening, all right, there's a knock on the window and it really startles her. And of course, it's the tit-winged fairy. And she's like, what the hell do you want? Because they have beef from years ago.
Makes sense.
Yeah, her name is Shaquith. She's a little feisty for a fairy. All right. So, she's like, what's the problem? So she's like, listen, I just want to let you know that the Squirrel King from Wondertit he wants an arranged marriage with you. All right. And he's coming in here, and that's why the Wondertit elders are around and crazy old Maurice. And they're going to try to snatch you up, and you got to be careful because you still have your inauguration party, I guess, later that day. A lot happening in one day. So she's like, oh man, what am I going to do? So she grabs a nutcracker, obviously, that she found, and she races back to her castle. And who's there when she gets there? Sitting in the throne of Nantucket, but the Squirrel King. And she's like, oh my god. And she has Richard with him, and he's enraged at this point. All right. And he's like, this is why they call me Raging Dick, and he's furious. I
was wondering when the nickname would come in. I was like, was it during the spice?
No, this fight's happened already. All right. So, things are going crazy and he's getting enraged, So he grabs the legendary acorn sword and they're like, wow, how did he get that thing? Because it was obviously inside of the giant magical acorn. And people are just like, because they can't believe that Raging Dick is the one that pulled it out.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Anyway, so who comes rolling in but the outlaw named Spazberry? And he's like, how did this titwit do this? How did he do it? In high school, they used to call him the titwit. They used to call him Tiny Tit. They used to make fun of him all the time, poor guy. But now, he's getting with the queen. She doesn't want to marry the Squirrel King. She doesn't want to hang out with squirrels all day long. She doesn't even like squirrels. So, she grabs a tree branch and a wizard staff. And she's like, I don't know what to do with either of these things because I don't even know magic. I'm not trained in magic. So she's like, I need to think for a little while. So she runs upstairs, she goes and checks out the mammogram machine. She doesn't understand it because it's medieval times and she doesn't understand where it even came from or what it does. She just stares at it for a little while because she's confused. And then who comes walking into her room? Alec, who comes walking in?
Marvolo?
No, crazy old Maurice.
Oh, crazy old Maurice.
Crazy old Maurice comes in and he's like, look, all right, the citizens are getting, worried. They're in an uproar. And she's like, I don't really care about them because that's not even my kingdom. Okay. She's like, I really don't care about them. Why are they even at my party? And they were like, look, everybody, the tea's getting cold. People want to know if they could just have fun without you at the party. And she's like, no, I'm going to come down right now. Calm your tits. And I'm going to come down right now. And, we're going to have the festival of 1,000 tits and it's going to be fun and everyone's going to have a great time. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. But this is supposed to be your inauguration party. So like, what the hell are you talking about? And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm drunk. She comes downstairs and she doesn't even make it down the stairs. Someone hits her with a tit taser and she's passed out now. She finds herself, she wakes up in the dungeons. She doesn't know how she got there. Who walks in though with the biggest nut she's ever seen ever because of who he is? The Squirrel King. Okay. And he's like, Richard, that's my brother. How could you? And she was like, I don't even know you, man. And he's like, that's my brother. I killed him. I slayed him. She's like, oh no, I can't believe you did that. How'd you do it? And he was like, with a nut thrower. She was like, oh no, his poor nuts, I promise this story has a plot that's going somewhere. Anyway. She cries her eyes out. She says, get me the hell out of here. She breaks out. She runs and cries by the elm tree. She's having a rough day, obviously. And, the citizens of Atlanta are like, dude, this is like, you're the worst queen ever. This is the worst day ever. Your party sucks. What are you going to do? You're going to marry the Squirrel King? You're going to leave us? Like, what's up? And she's like, I've decided I'm not going to. So the Squirrel King goes, okay. And he buries his nuts and he leaves. And that's the end.
He buries his nuts where?
In the dirt, Alex, just like a squirrel would.
Okay.
In case he needs to come back, next
Gotcha.
winter or something. And he,
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
where this went. All right.
All right. So what's your story? What's your story called?
But no one saw the tit taser coming when she came down the stairs.
I wasn't expecting
that plot twist.
I wasn't expecting the tit taser. That really took me by surprise.
It's called, the tit-astic day or tit-astic. How about tit-astrophe? Period. It's called the tit-astrophal. Wait.
Oh my god.
How about Queen of Tit-astrophe? Period.
Okay. Period.
All right. Period. And that's it.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I don't know if I would watch that or read that book.
I definitely would. I would 100%.
For the tit taser alone.
All right. Start us off on our next one.
All right. So there's a lot of talk about this myth about this legendary acorn sword. Nobody knows if it really exists. But a few people are like, all right, I think it does. We found a map. Okay. I think we should get a fellowship together to go on this quest to find this legendary sword. So they decide to ask.
They decide to ask Marvolo, who is one of the Wondertit elders. He's one of the few surviving Wondertit elders, and he's the most sane because the other one is crazy old Maurice. Nobody wants to go to him. Another one is Raging Dick. Nobody wants to go to him. And then the final one is Titwit, which nobody takes seriously. Right. So they go to Marvolo, and he says, okay, first of all, if you're going to go on this journey, I'm coming with you, obviously. I'm going to bring my wizard staff and my nut thrower because this is going to be essential on our journey. But first, I'm making Rice Krispie treats shaped like acorns because sustenance is important for our journey. It's important.
Right. So the next person to join this fellowship is obviously Shaqueef because Shaqueef is like the best fighter. Everyone knows that. Yeah. So Shaqueef is like, obviously. I mean, the things he can do with a tree branch are just insane.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, look, I got to tell Tiny Tit that I'm leaving. That's his wife. I got to tell Tiny Tit that I'm leaving because obviously she's going to worry. Tiny Tit's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're not going anywhere without drinks. So she makes some kind of wine type of thing and like something that's water, something very hydrating. And she puts them in mediocre jugs for the journey. And she tells him, you can't bring a tree branch. You can literally find a tree branch anywhere on your journey. Bring something that's more valuable. So he says, okay, I'm going to bring a magic wand. And this magic wand has been in his family for decades. So
okay,
he thinks that it'll be helpful on the journey.
Okay.
And then they go to whose house next to ask them in the fellowship?
Next, they go to the outlaw named Spazberry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's a bit of a wild card because you never know what he's going to do. You know, he is an outlaw and his name is Spazberry. So you don't know what's going to happen with this guy. But they go to him and he says, of course, I'm going to come with you on this journey. Why wouldn't I? This sounds like the thrill of a lifetime. And I'm also going to bring my enhancing cloak because we might need this on our journey. And it seems like you guys need some enhancement. I don't know. It's a weird bunch of people here going on this journey. And so they set out, but he's like, first, we need to stop at the tit-athon salon because I can't go anywhere until I've had my Channing's Tatum. So they stop at the tit-athon salon and they discover that there's a festival going on. Jess, what festival is it?
The Festival of Juggling Nuts. And you know, there's a guy there that's wonderful at this, and he's part of the Wondertit elders. Okay, everybody knows about him. Okay, it's Sandy, of course. He's you know, he's a knight. Well, he used to be. He's an alcoholic now. He's mid. You know, he's not really a good knight anymore. He's kind of like, he was a good knight. He was the best in his day, but now he's kind of like a mid knight. You know what I mean? Mm. And they're like, listen, Sandy, lovable old Sandy. You know, we got this quest that we're going on and we're thinking that maybe you should come with us. Okay. And he was like, all right, I will come, but I just want you guys to know that I have a secret. And they're like, oh no, what's this guy's secret? Oh. And he's like, listen, I got 2 twisted tits. And they're like, oh man. He's like, I gotta bandage them all the time. You know, I gotta make sure that, you know, they're well, you know, reserved because they're magical and they shoot magical fire. And I have to make sure that they're contained at all time. And he's like, that's my weapon. So, and they're like, oh wow, that's crazy. And he's like, but I'm also gonna bring a tit taser. You know, gotta. Yeah. So anyway, he's coming along too. And of course, they have to ask who else but the
tit-winged fairy. Obviously, you can't go anywhere without the tit-winged fairy, okay? It just doesn't make sense. And she is important because she's bringing her mammogram machine. And this is going to be important because you can't go anywhere in Wondertit without the mammogram machine, okay? It's very useful in lots of things. I'm not quite sure, actually, what it's useful in, but it's a good weapon in case things get dicey on the road. So they set off, and she also has a deck of magical cards. So I will say that she does have her deck of magical cards and it's going to help them. But first they have to get to this old elm tree, and that's where they're going to find.
Well, that's where they're going to find that they're starving. So they whip out some of these Rice Krispie treats shaped like acorns, start drinking from the mediocre jugs, and they decide that they're not mediocre after all, that they're delicious. So all these things going on, all of a sudden they hear a noise and they're like, what is happening? What is this? What's going on? Sandy's like, you know what? Let me unwrap my twisted tits and get out there and make sure that no one's messing about. And if they need to get, you know, flamed, it happens. So he goes out to the woods. Yeah, because he's got the 2 twisted tits that go, you know, that shoots fire. Right. So he goes out there and he's about to get ready and he's about to pop off some fire, and he notices that the noise, it's okay. It was just a bunny, you know, and it was rustling some leaves. He's like, all right, guys, it's fine. But when he turns around by the campfire where everybody was, they were all missing. They're gone. Oh. So where are they?
Okay, so they were playing around with the deck of magical cards, and one of these cards has vanished them to the kingdom of Atlantit. So they're not even in Wondertit anymore. And they're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? How do we get out of this? Who's the one with the twisted tits? Is it the Midnight?
Yeah, it's Sandy, the Midnight.
Sandy the Midnight. Gotcha. All right. So they're like, we lost Sandy. We don't know where he is. We lost a valuable weapon. And we have no idea what to expect here. We don't know if these citizens are friendly or if they're going to be hostile. And all we really know is that we've been at war with them. So they start their journey going through this land. They find some weird things. They see a sword and a boner. They think that's really bizarre. They're like, what is that? Do you think that could help us? I don't know. And then they see that there's a festival happening here as well. And this festival is the festival of spinning tits. And they're like, you know what? This would have been really helpful to have Sandy here for this. And it's really a shame that he's not present. But maybe we can find somebody here that will help us as well. So they go to the festival. They're looking for somebody to help them. And the outlaw named Raspberry, Spazberry.
He's Spazberry, not Raspberry. That was his brother. God.
Sorry. The outlaw named Spazberry recognizes someone that he knew from his past. And he's like, I know this guy. It's Raging Dick. And so they go right up to him and they're like, listen, Raging Dick, this is our situation. How do we get out of this? Can you please help us? Give us any information you can.
Yes. And amazingly so, that he even recognizes someone in this place he's never been before. He's like, listen, man. All right. He's like, I know it seems like you got transported into a new world. He's like, but I did too. That's how I ended up here. And then he's like, wow, that's crazy. He's like, let me just ask you something. He's like, because I think that we solved a riddle to get here with the magical cards. He's like, I'm looking for this giant magical acorn of Wondertit past elders. I'm looking for this giant legendary acorn sword that's supposed to be ripped out of it. Can you help? Because it sounds like you're a guy that knows a thing or two. And Richard's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. Sorry. And, you know, they were like, that really sucks. So they jump on a train and the train is going super fast all of a sudden out of nowhere. And they're like, what the hell? And they look up ahead and they just see this giant portal and they're about to just get sucked into it. And they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So the fairy goes, wait a second, I'm getting a bad feeling. I think that, you know, we have to, there's some clues in this train and we have to decipher the clues in order to make sure that we make it through that portal alive to the other side, because obviously this is part of the plan. So what are the clues, Alex? What do they have to do?
Okay.
Very intense.
This is intense. So they notice that there's a giant map on the wall, kind of like a subway map, but different. And there's some weird symbols on it. One of those symbols is a tree branch. And they're like, okay, well, we know that we have somebody here that's very skilled with tree branches. So maybe that's a clue. Maybe that'll help us somehow. Then they see an acorn, a giant acorn.
Shaquith is skilled.
Right. But they also see a giant acorn. And they're like, that looks like a really big fucking acorn, dude. That looks like that might be where we need to go. Maybe this is going to help us. Maybe this portal will take us there. So we need to figure out these clues some more. All right. What else do we have? We have what looks to be a throne of Nantucket and a squirrel sitting next to it, not on it. So that's kind of bizarre. And then all the way in the corner, they see just the gnarliest nuts they've ever seen. And they're like, if I were to give an award for gnarliest nuts, it would go to that one right there. So these are the clues that they have. And they have to try to puzzle this out so that this train will take them to this giant magical acorn of Wondertit elders past.
Okay, so they shuffle through these clues magically by the skin of their tit. They are able to get transported into this portal and go to the right place. And where does it take them? But to a throne room. And who's sitting in the throne room? The Squirrel King and his wife, the Queen Atlantit. And they're just sitting there. And they're like, listen to me. All right. How did you just appear here? Who are you people? What's up? Guards? You know, they're flipping out. And they're like, no. You don't understand. We're here on a mission. We have a quest. Okay. This guy was a midnight, you know, and they were like, oh my God, Sandy, the midnight. Yeah. He's here. He just got here like 15 minutes ago. He's cool. And they were like, oh man, thank God we got him back. And they will, you know, he comes out and he's like, listen, they hired me. I'm going to stay here. And they were like, no, bro, this is why you're mid. Okay. Because you're supposed to be helping us on this quest. You're not supposed to be staying here. Okay. And he was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. But you know, why don't crazy old Maurice take, he sucks. Why doesn't crazy old Maurice take my spot? And they were like, no, he's not even here, man. Okay, whatever. Bottom line is the queen, they're talking about their quest and the queen overhears and she says, oh, you guys are looking for a giant acorn? Yeah, that's literally outside in the garden. And they're like, holy shit. And she's like, nobody's allowed to touch that. Nobody's allowed to go near it. You know, nobody's been able to pull the sword out of there. I'd love to see you guys try. You know, the king's laughing his ass off because he's like, fucking assholes. I couldn't do it. None of my guards could do it. These idiots are not going to do it. A bunch of, you know, titwits. But they all go to the garden, and what happens, Sal?
Well, first they study this giant magical acorn. They're like, oh, well, is something bad going to happen to us if we try it? And the Squirrel King's like, no, no, no. Look, I tried it. I was already a squirrel. It's not like it turned me into one. Go ahead, just try it. And they all give it a shot, and none of them can do it. And then it's down to Sandy, the Midnight, who's like, what are we doing in here again? And they're like, dude, you've been with us the whole time. What are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I was like kind of captivated by Queen Atlantit. You know, it's a pretty cool place. I like this place. And they're like, get your head in the game, dude. And he's like, fine, I'll try it. And he walks up and he just pulls it out. Just pulls it right out. And they're like, yeah, it is. And they're like, what the actual fuck? Because this guy, and he's like, you guys are stupid. Like, this was super easy. You guys are dumb. And they're happy, but they're also very, very confused.
Now this guy's wielding this big ass sword, you know. He's cutting, because it's excellent in cutting nuts. So he's cutting nuts with it, you know, he's cutting literal nuts. He's like, you know, threatening the guards, and he's like, oh, get your nuts, you know. And a lot of things are happening, but they're so impressed, the king and queen, that they're throwing a festival. And they're calling
another one.
And they're calling it the festival of the guy who busted a tit.
Yeah.
You know, and they're so impressed also, you know, with Sandy and his twisted tits. You know, they asked him, they were like, we really do want you to stay behind and hang out with us. But you know, we're gonna get on our throne, and as soon as we snap our fingers, everyone's gonna go back to their own kingdom, and everybody's gonna go back to their own lives, and everything's gonna be all good. You guys did the quest. Good job, you know? So they have this big party, they have the festival, they're all dancing around an elm tree, having a great time. And they all go to sleep in their beds, and they wake up in their own beds at home like it never even happened.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it could have just been, you know, Raging Dick had a dream and he dreamt all this shit up. You know, he is an alcoholic after all. Or, you know, it could really have happened, but that's for you to decide.
Yeah. The only thing that they know is that they no longer need nutcrackers in the kingdom, because they now have the Midnight going around cracking all those nuts with this weird sword he's got.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And is he mid still? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, he is.
You're like, yes. Yeah, I forgot that he was doing a quest the whole time. All right. So my vote for title here, or tittle, would be I have a few ideas, you know.
Okay. Let's hear them.
Quest up Tits Creek.
Okay.
Tit Quest, just simply Tit Quest. We could have the Titillating Task.
Okay.
Or the Titillating Team.
Okay.
I don't know. A whole bunch of things I'm firing out there.
I like the titillating team. What about the titillating quest? No.
Festival of titillating tits. I don't know.
The Festival of Titillating Tits is funny.
Tit-astic Voyage.
I don't even know the tit-astic Voyage.
Or how about Train to Titslands? I don't know. Because they were on a train at one point.
The mid-tit saves the day.
Mid-tit. That's it. That's the name. Mid-tit. That's just what it's called right there. The mid-tit.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I would say in advance, but if you're still here, thank you for listening. We hope it was titillating for you. And yeah, the dark fantasy's weird for us, man.
I don't even think this was dark fantasy. I don't know what the hell this was.
It is
like an exploration into the minds of Jess and Alex.
This is like a book from people written that are like doing acid or something. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Books with tits.
Ass tit. Instead of acid. Ass tit. All right, well, this is definitely our weirdest collection of stories yet.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Hell yeah, it was. It was titillating. That's a great word.
You're just going to be using that word for the rest of the week.
Because it's a great word. Titillating. Anyway, we gotta go. We gotta go hang out with Channing's Tatum.
Yeah. And
Mila's Kunis.
Oh my God.
Keanu's Reeve.
Yeah. Well, speaking of great words, let's get into our word of the day.
Okay.
We had a good conversation.
Okay, it's time for the word of the day. Remember that we encourage our listeners to use these words in your daily conversations and with us on our socials. Each word of the day will come from the Word a Day Vocabulary Workbook by Francine Puckley, or Franny the Pucks. Follow the link in bio to get a copy for yourself. All right. Call me a tits, all right? We're doing word of the day. Without further ado, today's word of the day is
Panache or panache. It's spelled Panache and pronounced panache or possibly panache. We're not really sure, and there was some cousin conflict over it. But it is a noun that is defined as a distinctive flair or style, a flamboyant manner. For example, Jess was swept away by the charming stranger's panache. He seemed so dashing and romantic. Jess, do you have any examples for panache?
I mean, what happened to Rosamond? I guess it's Rosamond.
Changed it to you. Changed it to you. You were swept away by the charming stranger.
Swept away.
You liked his panache.
Yeah, Alex was swept away by the panache of this word panache. She's decided to embellish.
You say panache, I say panache.
Okay.
You like potato? All right, forget it. Do you have any examples for
panached potatoes? Help us.
Right. Well, in Two Twisted Crowns, Elm has a certain panache. Panache, whatever.
You don't even
whatever.
know.
I don't know anymore. I'm so confused now. I've said it so many times, but he has a certain panache about him. A little swagger, some flamboyant manner.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Elm had a panache mustache.
Oh my God.
Or a panache mustache. Depending on how you want to say it.
Oh my God. All
All
right.
right. Well, look, whatever. Here's some trivia about the word panache. All right. It's of French origin, meaning reckless courage. It traces back to the Latin paniculum, meaning small wing. That's what she said. Or in its more vernacular form, pena, meaning feather. Also what she said. In the Canadian sitcom Schitt's Creek, or Tits Creek, more appropriately for this episode, once wealthy but always eccentric parents, Johnny and Moira, lead the Rose family in their panache, with wigs and Italian wingtips to designer outfits and unique public personas.
All right. That's a good example. That was some good trivia.
Yeah, it was some good trivia.
All right. So that brings us to our speech series, because as you know, we like to enhance your speech as well as our own. And these phrases and words come from the Well-Spoken Thesaurus by Tom Healer, or Tommy the Heels. So for today, what you're not going to say is, that's iffy. Instead, you're going to say, that's open to question. So instead of saying, that Wondertit king is real iffy, instead you could say, that Wondertit king, he's open to question.
That's a good sentence you had there. It's a good example. Excellent. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now it's time for the question of the day. We're going to start with our rapid fire rounds. Alex, what are we doing today?
Things you waste your time thinking about.
Okay. Perfect. I got 2 minutes on the clock. In 3, 2, 1. Things you waste your time thinking about. Go.
Tits. Dicks.
Words that can be transformed into tit or dicks. I don't know. Tripping in the dark.
Which book boyfriend is my favorite?
Everything.
whether all the people I know in my life are mad at me or not.
Wow. The Squirrel King, and whether he would juggle nuts or not.
Squirrels in general, and just in general what their lives are like.
Yeah. Dark fantasy stories that involve crazy things with the word tit.
Something I do think about sometimes is, when you see like a dead raccoon on the street, is if their family knows and if they're sad about it.
I've thought of that before, but with rats and mice.
Okay.
Popcorn flavors and what you shouldn't add to popcorn.
Oh, okay.
Things I really do waste time thinking about, though. I mean, you want to get dark, death and how it's going to come about, but that's not fun.
Shit. Okay.
Why corn comes out the same in poop?
Yeah, that is a good question. Look, why do we even eat it? Honestly, I gave it to my dogs once. I was like, why did I even give this to you? All right. Anyway,
it used to have nutritional value, but it no longer does.
I don't even know.
Corny jokes.
Puns.
Puns. Mm-hmm. That's right. All the books I'm going to read but won't have time in my lifetime to do read.
Spend a lot of time thinking about the things I don't want to do at work the next day.
Foods that start with the letter Q.
Or like quinoa. It's the only food I know.
Quiche.
Oh, quiche. All right, fine.
All right, time's up. Movie quotes.
Okay. Movie quotes is good for you.
Look,
all right.
We could have literally did the entire episode on that.
Yeah.
But there's so many things you could waste time thinking about.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, let's get into our questions. So if you could speak with a friendly spirit in your mind, Alex, without degeneration, and there's no cost, would you do it? Why would you do it? Or why wouldn't you do it? And who would you do it with? But it would have to be someone that we don't know.
Okay. Well, if I were to do it, I would want it to be a stranger. I don't care who it is. I wouldn't want it to be somebody that I know of or like a famous person or anything like that. I just want it to be a random stranger. But I don't think I would do this. I think I would get annoyed. I would be like, I just want my quiet time for me right now. And they'd just be yapping away in my brain. I'd also run the risk of having a spirit that likes to chat. And that would be really upsetting for me. So I don't think I would want this.
I want nothing to do with this.
Okay.
I don't want anybody in my head. I'm already in my head.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone else in there. There's not enough room in there. It's like a genie. There's just not enough space. So yeah, no, get out of here. I don't want any part of that. But if I had to choose a spirit that I don't know, I would have to, I guess, pick the ghost of Helen Keller, because at least she won't really, I can't hear her. And I'm sorry. Poor Helen Keller at this point. We're just going to go to hell. But also it makes sense. I don't want her talking. She won't really talk. She can't really hear anything I have to say. She's not intrusive.
How would you even know that she's there?
Exactly. She's not intrusive at all.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right.
Just a lot of tapping, probably. She would probably be tapping a lot, like on my skull. That could get really annoying.
That sounds really upsetting. Yeah.
So I don't want any part of any of it.
All right.
Final answer.
Well, all right. For our second question, would you survive the Path to the Twin Elders card?
No, I wouldn't survive any of these things. Okay. All right. Not at all. I would think it's cool when all the trees start moving and stuff. But like as soon as they separate, I'm like, wait, we're not being like guarded anymore. Like this is scary. I would survive none of that. So,
yeah.
This is exactly for me, like the Writer's Quadrant, how we wouldn't survive any of that.
Yeah.
I would be dead probably sooner.
Yeah.
In this one.
I would never survive this. I would never survive any kind of quest like this. Never.
Also, the spirit of the wood sounds kind of dirty to me right now. We've been talking about
Stop.
I wouldn't survive on laughter alone because I would be abusing her. She'd be like, all right, you're dead.
The spirit of the wood.
Sounds like a porno.
It sounds like she belongs in Wondertit with the Squirrel King. All right.
Exactly. Exactly. The spirit of the wood should have been in play in these things.
It's true.
Where were we?
I know.
Fail. Anyway, no. Bottom line, no. I would not survive. I would be dead probably before the river, the lake. So
yeah, I was trying to figure out what came before the lake. I couldn't remember, but I was like, I'm definitely not getting past that. So as you all know, we recently read Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. We picked our favorite good and bad reviews in case anyone is on the fence about reading it, but you should read it. Two Twisted Crowns currently has an overall rating of 4.6 out of 5 on Goodreads and a 4.7 on Amazon with a publication date of October 17th, 2023. All right, so let's do our bad reviews first. Jess, what do you have?
So Alex is right. Get off the fence and in the yard. Read this book. Just saying. Really 4.6 on Goodreads, 4.7 on Amazon. Need we say more? This book is possibly sheer perfection. All right. So my 1 star, because not everybody thinks that way, apparently, is I kept waiting for this book to get exciting, and it never did. So this has me wondering if this is maybe the ghost of Helen Keller reading this book, because how did you not get the same experience we did? Because I thought it was exciting as hell.
It was very exciting. Some people, it's just not for them, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know what they wanted.
Fantasy. Yeah, if you don't like fantasy, why are you reading a fantasy book? It's like what's his name says in that movie, Due Date. He's like, he's like, I'm allergic to waffles. He's like, then why did you eat waffles? And he's like, well, then don't take me to a Waffle House. He's like, you don't have to eat waffles at the Waffle House. Like, that's exactly how I feel about this review.
Yeah.
Don't like it, don't read it.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be for a lot of books. If you're reading a book, even though you don't think you're going to like it, why are you reading it?
Yeah, I know. It'll be like somebody reads a sci-fi and then they'll be like, oh, I give it a 1 star. I don't like sci-fis. Then why did you read it? Knowing you're not going to like it. That's like me watching anime and being like, I don't like this because I don't like anime. All right, I'm done.
Man.
Rant over. Right. We're very bitter about these 1 stars.
Yes, we are. They were actually kind of hard to find, though, so I guess that's a good thing. But all right, so I have a 1 star. This person actually got an advanced copy of the book in exchange for an honest review. So they said, honestly, I did not finish this after 3 chapters. I was so about the first book and was hoping this book would be more intriguing. I was so unattached to the characters. So picking up here, I was bored immediately. I really wanted to push through, but couldn't. Once again, I just don't get it. I love the characters. One of the best parts of the book.
That doesn't even make sense. This is, again, the Ghost of Helen Keller, because it makes absolutely no sense if you're like, oh, I really loved the first book. That means you love the characters. Same characters.
Yeah.
Same ones.
Yeah.
And the narration was better, in my opinion, in this one.
I loved it. Can you tell we liked this book?
We hated it. No.
I think this is the most bitter we've ever been, actually, about reading the 1 stars. I don't know if we've ever been this bitter before.
I don't think so, but I'm going to say my current new phrase. I spit on you.
I spit on you.
No, I'm only kidding.
All right. So how about those good reviews then?
All right. Finally, my happy place again. All right. So if I couldn't have wrote this review better myself. This is a 5-star. Got it on Goodreads. Says, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you write a sequel. You make me care about the secondary characters so much that when I pick up a sequel and half the characters follow them, I become excited. You give me a new romance plot involving them instead of creating unnecessary conflict between the couple we followed during the first book, and instead give them something important to do. Now that we've already established they're in love, not questioning it again, but not leaving us, me really, without the fun of a new one. You expand on the lore without having a character info dump or have flashbacks, and instead create an interesting reason as to why we're able to see the past now. The last step to creating a great sequel is being Rachel Gillig, honestly. And then the Taylor playlist, Out of the Woods, Evermore, Slut, Haunted.
Nice. Okay.
I love that review.
I agree with you. When I saw that you had this review, I was like, I agree. This is how you write a sequel. Like, this is so well done. All right. So I also have a 5-star. This person said, you found a new favorite author when they leave you questioning the very fabric of your star rating reality. This book ticked every box, hit every sweet spot, and cemented a piece of its soul into my mind. How are we meant to rate such a transcendent experience with these star-shaped symbols that we use to try to assign personal meaning to books that made an impact on the very core of our being? Am I being melodramatic? Perhaps. But anyway, have the whole galaxy of stars, Miss Gillig. I guess that's all just a long-winded way to say I loved it, and if you have similar tastes to me, you might love it as well. And if you don't, that's cool too. So there you go.
I agree. She does deserve the galaxy of stars. I cannot wait to see what comes next from her.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. She is up there right now from my authors, and I would read this entire series over and over again.
Yeah,
that's all.
I would too. We've heard what other people had to say, so now here's our back flap submissions. Our back flaps. Just take it away.
If you haven't read Two Twisted Crowns yet, drop everything and get lost in its mist now. Jess and Alex.
Welcome to the Elm Show, bitches. I never realized I had a favorite tree before, but now I think we all do. I agree. Jess
do we
and
not?
Alex. No, definitely.
I love elms now, apparently. Well, looks like these characters were playing with the full deck after all. Read it with the poker face on. Jess and Alex.
Hey, Hoth, what's in that goblet? Drink this poison and get got, you dick. Jess and Alex.
I tried to hold it together, but seriously, get God, you scumbag. No one likes you. All right.
The worst.
I hate him.
Yeah.
Hey, the spirit of the wood called. She said, meet her by Castle U 500 years ago to read this book. Jess and Alex.
I like that one. Hoth's a dick, and Elm's got a forest of twigs to play in, right? I only know. Jess and Alex.
It's I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, you pronounced it in my own. Okay. I don't know.
Something I can't.
Jess and Alex.
It's like, I don't know. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
I can't. Simply, this is it. Because it is Jess and Alex.
It is. This is it.
There's it. All right, everyone. So let's transition now into the cooking portion with some cooking tips. So for today, we're going to discuss magical time-saving tips and tricks in your kitchen. So Alex, what do you have for us?
So magical. All right. So my tip and trick is simply meal prep. So if you're like me and you hate to cook, it's really helpful to prepare meals ahead of time, and then you don't have to cook every day. So if you cook maybe 3 times a week, then you can make enough to eat the next day or to have for lunch the next day. If you have a husband like me who doesn't like leftovers, you just tell him he has no choice and he has to eat it because you're not cooking again. So it saves you a lot of time. It's also, it's really helpful if you work or you commute, because you don't have to, just be cooking every single night when you get home. You can do it, like I said, 3 times a week and be able to eat for the whole week. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to get magical, there's edible glitter. You can throw that in your party punch. You can throw that on cookies. You can throw that in your treats. But if you don't want to get magical and you want to save some time, then my trick for you, or my tip, would be when you buy your veggies and you bring them home, pre-slice, pre-chop them, throw it into some Tupperware or a Ziploc or something like that. And this way you have it ready to go. The next morning you want to make an omelet, boom, you already have your stuff. You don't have to chop anything. You want to make something else for dinner, you want to make fajitas, you already have them ready to go, and you can have them prepped and ready. As soon as you come home from them, instead of putting them in the fridge and hoping that they won't go bad because you'll remember to use them, sometimes that happens. Mm-hmm. You could chop them up and have them in the forefront of your fridge, and you already have your veggies ready to go. So there's no excuses on what you're going to make because you already have them chopped.
It really is. I actually do that most of the time, because it does, you spend a little bit more time doing it all at once, but then you don't have to do it again. It's already ready.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 times I'll actually cook them too if I'm in the mood for it.
It's a good idea.
And yeah, just to have like peppers and onions and everything just ready to go on hand.
Yeah. You can also cut them up and then freeze them, and then that way they stay good for longer. And again, if you don't feel like you don't have anything or you just want something quick, just throw it in wherever, defrost it or whatever. All right.
Exactly. And if that's not for you, just remember that edible glitter exists. So if you want to get magical and that's something you'd rather do, then you go for it.
It does.
That's all.
All right. Do you have a time-saving magical tip or trick that you enjoy? If so, send us an email or reach out on our socials. If we test out your suggestion, we'll credit you and discuss the outcome in the future.
Yeah.
As you may recall, on Tuesday, we introduced the ingredient of the week, which was bread, inspired by the rotten bread fed to the prisoners in Stone's dungeons. We were each supposed to make something using that ingredient, so now we'll review the outcome. Jess, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, since it was a recipe that incorporates bread, I figured why not tell you how to make bread, right? It's actually not hard to make. All you have to do is you have to already have yeast, and the best is the one in the jar, and you keep it in the refrigerator. It lasts up to 6 months once opens, and it's not the instant yeast that comes in the packages, but the other one that comes in the jar. That's the one I recommend for this recipe, or for any recipe if you want to try different ones. But if you've never made bread before, I know it sounds like it could be intimidating, but it's not that bad. So the easiest one that I could say would be a tablespoon of the active dry yeast, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar if you want. That's optional, and 2 cups of warm water. Okay. And you want to make sure that it's not hot, it's not cold, it's not lukewarm, but warm. So if you're actually going to, look at the degrees, it would be somewhere around like 100 degrees, 105, 115, something like that. And you're going to mix these ingredients together, put like clear wrap over it, and then just put it aside. Put it somewhere that's warm, inside of the microwave without it being on. for example, for a couple hours. You have, like me, I have a proofing setting on my toaster oven. So if you're like me, you could put it in there and that'll actually cut your time. You could put, I think it's like 100 degrees or something that it goes on, but that's also not necessary. You could just put it away for a little while, a couple hours, until it rises where it's double the size. You take that out. I like to take that and put it into 2 separate loaf pans. And you don't have to do this in a loaf pan if you don't want to, but if it's your first time, that's the easiest way. You separate it, cut it in half, put it in the loaf pans, and then let that sit another half hour. So this way they can get a little bit bigger in there. And then you throw them in the oven, 350 for about 30 minutes, 33 minutes until it's lightly browned. You take it out. It's delicious. And you can get creative with it. If you don't want to add sugar, you want to add honey, you could do that. You could take the sugar and the honey out. You don't have to add that if you don't want to, but you could also add, seasoning flavors, rosemary, or you can add onions onto it. I've done that before. You could get creative. I've actually put garlic and cheese, which is a favorite. And you put that in there, and you don't have to knead this, by the way, but you can mix it in together. So when you're putting them in the loaf pans, you could just mix it into like the middle of it and kind of combine it together so that it's embedded in it. And it comes out pretty good. And it's not that hard. It just comes with experience. After a while, you can get creative with it, but start out pretty easy at first and just take it from there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good. My recipe for this week is a French toast bake. So I usually make this on Christmas morning, or sometimes I'll do it on Thanksgiving morning, but I like it around Christmas time because it makes me feel cozy. Also, it's easy to make the night of Christmas Eve, and then you wake up in the morning, you cook it, and you have a fun little breakfast. So basically what you're going to do is grab a loaf of bread. You can really use any bread. I like to use challah bread. I think it's the best, but you can literally use any bread you like. You're going to need about 8 eggs, large, about 2 cups of milk, half a cup of heavy cream, some vanilla extract, maybe a tablespoon, and then some sugar. You could do, I've seen recipes that have like 3/4 of a cup. However, I usually do less because I don't think it needs that much, especially if you're going to put some syrup on it later. I don't think it needs as much sugar. Also, I did get this tip from my friend Dana, but if you mix some brown sugar and butter and put it at the bottom of the pan, it creates a really yummy little toast that goes with like crust, sorry, not toast. And it really adds some flavor. And if you do that, once again, you don't really need all the sugar. There's also toppings that you can do. So basically you could do some flour with some brown sugar, cinnamon. You could do nutmeg if you want, a little bit of salt and some butter. And basically what you'll do is you'll cut the bread up into little cubes. You can put it, I usually put this into a loaf pan, a large loaf pan. However, once again, you can kind of use whatever you have. It doesn't matter. You're going to grease that, and you're going to put in the bread cubes, and then you're going to mix together the eggs, the milk, the heavy cream, vanilla, sugar if you're using it, and then you'll pour it evenly over the bread. Then you're going to cover it with plastic wrap and refrigerate it for at least 4 hours. However, I usually do it overnight, like I said. And then you'll make the topping. You just mix all those ingredients together, and you can put it into a bag and put that in the refrigerator overnight as well. And then in the morning, wake up, put the topping on the bread mix thing, in the pan. You sprinkle the topping over it, and then you put it in the oven, bake it at 350, maybe 45 to 60 minutes, but keep an eye on it, especially depending on what kind of pan you're using. And when it's done, you take it out, cut it up, and you can serve it with honey or syrup, or you could just eat it plain. Really depends on your tastes. It's delicious, it's delightful, and it makes you think of the holidays.
Love it. Yeah, we love making a French toast bake here. Mine's different. We don't cut it into cubes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've seen so many different recipes for this. This one, this is how my mom does it, so it's how I usually do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a little of the bread pudding. I love bread pudding too.
Oh, yeah, me too. I actually had some in St. Lucia with some.
Did you?
Yeah, no. It had lang lang. Is that how it's pronounced? Lang lang, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It had like a lang lang sauce and some ice cream. It was so good. All right, I'm done.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a yummy recipe using bread or making your version of bread, send it to us in an email or reach out on our socials. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to test out your suggestions, and we'll, of course, credit you and discuss the outcome that we have from them in the future.
All righty. So that brings us to this week's game. We're going to be playing taboo-tay. Or taboo. So we have an app on our phone, and it's going to select a word for us. And if you don't know how to play taboo, it gives you a word that the other person is going to have to guess. We'll have to describe it to that person, but there are 5 words closely linked to that word to use to describe it that we're not allowed to use. So we'll explain to you what those words are after the person guesses. So, Jess, do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm just going to let you guys know that after we're done, we will show each other the screen. So this way there's no,
cheating.
In case we said it. Yes. You
Gotcha.
could be like, but you said that word, cheater.
Okay.
And that's that.
All
All right. So the first one you get. All right. See, but it sucks because when you see the words, you want to say them.
I know.
And I wouldn't even have thought of them. All right. Jigsaw is one of them.
Puzzle?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Here you go. I couldn't say crossword, logic, pieces, solve, or solution. I did want to say pieces. And I was like, oh, man.
Honestly, when you first said Jigsaw, I was thinking of the Saw movies, and my first thought was serial killer. And I was like, it can't be. That can't be the word. It just can't be. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It's an animal with brown fur that eats a fruit and usually lives in a jungle type situation. It's very close to humans.
Monkey?
Yes.
That was so intense.
So there you go. I couldn't say banana, swing, zoo, tree, or baboon.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Your Aunt Linda, Jax, is her
Grandson.
Thank you.
Oh,
See,
nice.
this ways around this.
Yeah.
All right. I couldn't say generation, kids, mom, children, parent. And I wanted to say my mom, so I had to say your Aunt Linda.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So for this one, you usually listen to it on Spotify or the radio.
Podcast.
Nope.
Music.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I couldn't say notes, sound, hear, band, or rock.
Nice. Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Without this, you could be late. Without this, you won't know what you're doing.
Alarm.
It's important to keep one of these to stay on track.
Reminder. Planner. Calendar.
Let's see how
Notebook.
else I could put this. This is hard. I want to say all these words. Okay. I invited you to a wedding, and you don't know if you can go, but you have to check your
Schedule.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay.
I couldn't say event, date, day, week, month. I mean, that's impossible.
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
All
All right. So this is a fun time that happened last week, and you go and get candy.
Trick or treat. Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. I couldn't say
Nice.
October, scary, holiday, pumpkin, or costume.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something that took place with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It was a trial, and it was inside this place.
Courtroom?
Yes, but without the room.
Court. Okay.
I couldn't say judge, verdict, jury, attorney, or defense, so I had to get creative there.
Okay. All right. This one should be pretty easy. Nick is my
Brother.
yes.
Jesus, could that get any easier?
I know. I couldn't say sister, father, mother, sibling, or parent.
Okay, this one's gonna be fun. This is something when you moved into your new house, you had to dispose of immediately, and you didn't understand why they left it behind.
Oh my god! Wait, there were so many things. Curtains?
What kind?
Dirty curtains.
Yes, but this one was in a specific room.
The garage?
No, in the bathroom. I could say that.
Oh, okay. Oh, the shower curtain.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Shower curtain.
Ugh. They
I know,
actually didn't leave those, but they asked if I wanted to keep it.
Oh, that's right.
They were
That's
like,
right.
"Hey, do you want to keep these?" I was like, "What?" And the bath mats too. I was like, "No, I'm sorry, but I have my own. Thank you."
How nice of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't say wash, prevent, door, hang, or hotel. I knew
Okay.
they left behind the curtains, but I thought it was the shower curtain. But I knew it was something with the shower curtain. So
If it were up to them, they probably would have left it. They left all the rest of the curtains, and they left a rug. They left that weird picture. Remember that one that I sent you? It was like a
with the
Wendy's
guy's
picture.
asses?
Yeah,
Yes.
and like a ton of tires and just a ton of shit. All right, I'm getting angry about it again. All right, here we go. It's okay. All right, this is where you put the
Your
things
dick.
the things that you buy things with, your currency.
Wallet.
And yes. Yes.
All right.
I couldn't
Nice.
say money, cash, credit cards, license, or purse.
Okay. All right. This is something that you say when you text someone. General.
Hey, hi, greetings, Earthlings. What's up?
Yes.
What's up? That's hilarious.
I couldn't say greeting, hello, hi, doing, you. All right.
All right. So this is what you use when you're feeling sick and you need to know if you should take aspirin or not.
Medicine?
No. It's you put it in your mouth. Sometimes you have to put it in your butt for like little kids.
I didn't know you were going to say for little kids. That's terrible.
I think they do it for babies sometimes in the butt. I don't know, or the armpit. Yes, the thermometer.
I mean, Jesus Christ, with this, that's what she said stuff happening there.
I couldn't say temperature, heat, measure, fever, or mercury.
Yeah, fucking because mercury is exactly what I would think of.
I know, that's so old school.
So crazy.
Who has an old thermometer like that?
Crazy old Maurice.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I can go two ways with this. One, we love Mexican type of nams, and a lot of times this is incorporated in that.
Cheese,
No, it's like things with beans.
guacamole, rice.
Yes. My other thing I was going to say to go with it would have been you could put your phone in this apparently if it's not working to get it to work again.
Didn't Doug try that once and it didn't work?
It did work, I think.
Oh, did it?
I couldn't say wheat, grain, food, Asia, and white.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So you get this from your physician when you're feeling ill.
Medicine.
But how do you get the
Prescription.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I couldn't say medicine, pharmacy, doctor, CVS, or refill. CVS.
Nice. All right. This was lyrics. I think this was actually the title of an Eminem song. Blank ain't saving shit. Girl, you could jump on Shady's dick.
Oh. Superman.
Yes.
Superman ain't saving shit. You can jump
Girl, you
on-
could jump on Shady's dick. All right. Got too happy. That's what I meant.
All right.
Also, we went to go see him live and he was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Superman. I couldn't say hero, movie, flies, kryptonite, or randomly underwear.
What?
Why can't we say underwear? What does
Weird.
Superman have to do with underwear? Is this something I don't know? I'd like to be informed.
Yeah, that's really weird. All right. You give this as a thank you for a service when you go out to eat.
My mind just went in the gutter. A rating?
No.
A tip.
Yes, a tip. Yeah.
Tip of that dick.
Oh my God. I couldn't say cab, taxi, waiter, restaurant, or money.
Nice. All right, two more each.
Okay.
Good, right? Okay. This is something that you hear when there's a storm.
Thunder.
Boom. Literally. All right. I couldn't say wet, rain, lightning, sound, or umbrella. But I could say storm. I mean, come on.
Yeah. All right. So you use this in the kitchen to make pasta or sauce.
A pan,
soup.
a pot.
Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't say pan, kettle, black, non-stick, or cook.
Nice.
It's random words.
So random. All right. This could totally go wrong.
Oh, I just got shower curtain. Sorry.
Nice. This could totally go wrong, but I'm going to try it anyway. In the movie, how well do you know the movie Dumb and Dumber?
A little.
All right. In the movie, when they think they're going to Aspen, they say, I don't see any mountains or something. And then he's like, yeah, that John Blank is full of shit.
Deer?
No.
I don't know.
All right. This is also where South Park is, but a different city. Oh, fuck. I'm not supposed to say city. God damn. I effed up. It's Denver.
Oh,
Oops.
Denver. Okay.
Ooh. Oh, well. All right.
All right. You use this to clean your mouth. Listerine.
Mouthwash.
Yeah.
You can't say mouth.
I can't say brush, rinse, teeth, dentist, or cavity.
But mouthwash is in the word. Fail. All right, last one. Let's make it count.
Okay.
Okay. It's a band. They sing Tom Sawyer.
I don't know.
God
Is it a new band or an old band?
damn. Old.
I have no idea.
All right. That's the song. When you're coming back from work, sometimes you get stuck in this blank hour.
Rush hour? Oh,
Yes.
rush. I gotcha. Okay.
Yes, rush.
Nice.
All right. Couldn't say hurry, speed, fast, quick, or mail.
Okay.
I don't know why mail's there, but okay.
All right. During the week, there's 7 of these.
Days.
It's the one in the middle.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Hump day.
I was going to say hump day, but I couldn't say Tuesday, Thursday, days, 2, or eve.
So you would have just been like, hump?
Yeah.
I would have been like, what?
You would have been like, excuse me? Are we back in Wondertit?
I've been like, camel? Oh my God, Camelot, camel tit. We did before.
Camel
All
tit.
right.
That's a good one.
The Kingdom of Camel Tit 2 coming soon.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah. this was fun.
Taboo-tay. Nobody kicked anyone's bootay because we got a tie. We even failed one each. So you were winning until you said the word mouth.
I was allowed to say mouth.
No, you weren't. It's in the word.
Okay, whatever. Whatever.
That's like the word being necktie, and you're being like, oh, neck. It's on your neck. I could say that. You can't.
Fine. Whatever. All right.
You can't.
Okay. All right. You're right. I agree with you. No cousin conflict over this.
I know. All right. Well, that was fun.
That was fun. All right. We're going to turn the podcast over to Jess's husband, Doug, for a manly minute or a chug of Doug. We tried to get Alex's husband involved, but he's too shy. Maybe in the future.
And now, a healthy chug of Doug.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today on this Thursday? Doing good, huh? I'm doing good. Just, outside doing some leaves. Fall is upon us. You know what's a good investment? The leaf vacuum. You want to make leaves that much easier for yourself? Go get yourself a leaf vacuum. I mean, it cuts your time in half doing leaves by at least half. It's a quality investment. What else we got? What else is going on? Guys getting ready for Thanksgiving, just creeping your way into Christmas. Let's be honest, guys, we don't need Christmas music right now. Let's enjoy Thanksgiving first, and then you could go nuts into Christmas. I'm a little more excited about Christmas now. My son's a little older, so he's already talking to me about Santa coming and bringing him gifts, and I'm using Santa basically as a bargaining chip. When he's not doing something I need him to do, I'll be like, hey, Santa's watching. Santa's watching. Yeah, he is. Real creepy Santa, but he's watching. What else is going on, huh? What did we, betting. Betting. We took a couple weeks off. We took 2 weeks off in betting because things went downhill fast. It was disheartening. I went on a nice little skid with the NHL. It was 3, maybe 4 losses in a row. I was like, let's sit back. Let's reevaluate what's going on. Why am I making the wrong decisions? Maybe it's because I know nothing about hockey. So yesterday we went in. We took the Wild -1.5. Well, technically you're listening to this on Thursday. So on Tuesday we took the Wild -1.5. They covered. Got a little at the end. It got a little scary at the end for me. It was a power play, 6-on-4 with 1:40 to go in the game. Wild up by 2. I'm like, guys, please hold it together. All right. Hold it together for my wallet. And then we took the over in the Devils Avalanche game. Easy money. If there's an over, the Devils over in every Devils game. They play 0 defense. Oh, someone's at my front door. Sorry about that. What I was saying was Devils, any over in a Devils game, you take it. No defense, goalie's horrible, and they score a lot. So just keep that in mind, all right? That's all I got for you today. Enjoy it.
Stay tuned for the next Manly Minute, where you can get tips about sports, working out, reading, gaming, and other fun topics. Just a reminder to stay after the episode for some bloopers and bonus content.
Next Tuesday, November 14th, we will be reading and reviewing Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Join us then as we discuss the first in the Dark Fantasy series, and join us again this Thursday, November 16th, for another Poddy episode.
Don't forget to mark your calendar for our next Book of the Month episode, which will air on Wednesday, November 29th. We'll be reading and discussing Tommy Orange's novel, There, There.
And be on the lookout for our next bonus-ode. On November 20th, we'll be reviewing Britney Spears' newly released memoir, The Woman in Me. And maybe for other upcoming unannounced surprise bonus-odes. Who knows?
If you haven't read the upcoming books but would like to, head on over to the link in our bio and get a copy for yourself so that you can participate in future discussions.
You don't pay anything extra, but if you make a purchase using our link, we get a small commission, so thank you so much for supporting us. If you enjoy listening to our podcast, it would really mean a lot to us if you would leave a positive review on Spotify, Apple, or whichever streaming service you use.
We would really appreciate it also if you could spread the word by telling friends and family about our podcast. And of course, we want to say thank you to all of our listeners. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah. We also want to remind everyone to be on the lookout for our live events on TikTok.
Yep, we'll be doing some live events soon, and we will post upcoming dates on our socials. If you're just tuning in, this is what you can expect from our podcast. We're going to be releasing new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, so be sure to check out our socials for updates and also some bonus content. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms. Click on the link in our bio for access to all of our socials, our website, and other links.
We encourage you to reach out to us with thoughts, ideas, questions, and feedback. You can email us at bookswithcooks@gmail.com. You can also find our full book reviews on Goodreads. These links will also be available at the link in bio. If no one told you today, you're important and valued. You belong here. You're doing great. And we believe in you.
Now let's turn the page and put a fork in it.
Because we're done with this one.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on then to our speech series. As you know, we like to enhance your speech as well as our own, and we get these from the Well-Spoken Thesaurus by Tom Healer, or Tommy the Heels. So today, instead of saying, eat a dick, instead you're going to say, orally ingest a Johnson. For example, that guy's a douche, he can eat a dick. You can say, that guy's a douche, he should orally ingest a Johnson.
Not come from Tommy.
The Festival of Fill in the Blank, which is reusable. We can fill that in with whatever we choose in the moment. The award for gnarliest nuts. Putting on an enchanting cloak. All right.
I thought it was an enhancing cloak.
I lied. I was making sure Alex was paying attention. Yes, the enhancing cloak, which depending on who wears it, what gets enhanced. And the sequestered tavern. They have a tit-a-thon, so sometimes it's called the tit-a-thon salon. All right, I'm done.
And be on the lookout for our next bonus-ode. On November 20th, we'll be reviewing Britney Spears' newly released memoir, The Woman in Me. And maybe for other upcoming unannounced surprise bonus-odes, fuckface. Jess, I can't with you. All right. You're just trying to throw me off my game. And I did see this ahead of time. I was like, maybe it makes sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. All right, hold on.
Maybe for some other upcoming announced ones.
It makes no sense. The fuckface is so out of place, but that's why it's good.
All right, hold on. Let's do that again.
Thanks for listening to my mommy and Aunt Alex. Bye.